Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having a soda, and tonight I'll be reviewing Alamort by Jaine. This is an arc I downloaded off of Book Sirens, but of course I'm giving my honest opinion. These are the tropes, and these are the content warnings. My rating for this book is a 3.75. So what's this book about? So this book is about Priya, who is being sent to a private school for delinquents. Her crime? Supposedly she burned down her school library with two people inside, one being her dear sister, who was her world. She didn't do it, but no one believes her, including her parents, which is not a surprise really, as they've hated her for as long as she can remember. So even though this is a school for delinquents, maybe this is the fresh start she needed. But little does she know there's a horde of demons there waiting for her, waiting to make her life hell on earth. Their reasoning, revenge, of course, because the other person in that fire was none other than their brother. So they're looking to get their pound of flesh, and there's no better revenge than an eye for an eye. So what are my thoughts? Again, I'm giving this a 3.75. I will admit the star of this book, I didn't fully connect with it because I was confused at times. And then also at times the writing was a little bumpy. It did smooth out as the story progressed, and this is the author's debut novel, so I do think allowances can be made. And I will say as the story progressed, it did get more interesting and I did start to understand what was happening. I will say, however, this is a bully romance. And at the start of the book, or the first half of it, there wasn't a lot of bullying. And there was one point where one of the male main characters kind of remarked along the lines of like, we need to ramp this up, she's not getting the message, we need to make it hurt for her. And I was just thinking, what have you done? You've barely been mean to her, you barely interacted with her, of course she can withstand it, you haven't started bullying her yet. After that point, though, the bullying began, and I know bully romances aren't everyone's cup of tea, but if I go into a bully romance, I expect bullying, and that did happen a lot more in the second half of this book, and that's where I was like, okay, I'm vibing with this a little bit more. Now, something I want to mention is that this book does not have a miscommunication trope, but after a while it felt like there was one, but not in the traditional sense. And what I mean is that the MCs in this book are going off the incorrect information they were given, or that they have found that Priya was responsible for the death of their brother. At no time do they actually confront her about this. They're just going off of this assumption. So from Priya's point of view, they're just bullying her to bully her. So after a while, I was just screaming at my book for them to confront her about this so that she can stand up for herself and be like, no, that isn't what happened, so they can work on finding who is responsible for the death of her sister and his brother. And also, there are two characters in this book who don't think she did it, who are connected to them, and just stand back and do nothing. So at the whole time, I was just screaming for somebody to say something. Overall, there were parts of this book that I did enjoy, such as the female main character. I really enjoyed her and wanted to wrap her up and give her a hug and keep her safe because she's had it rough. And other parts that just weren't for me. Now, this book does end on a cliffhanger, so keep that in mind. And just because this wasn't a 5-star read for me doesn't mean it won't be for you. And I strongly encourage you to give this book a try for yourself if it sounds like something you're interested in. It will be available November 29th. Give it a try, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.